Hey, I'm Cosmo. I'm the CTO of Metronome, and we're building monetization infrastructure, especially for the enterprise.
Cosmo, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
How are you finding Enterprise Ready Conf to be so far?
I think it's a great conference. It's super well put together. Like I think the quality of the talks, but also kind of just the space and the attendees are all great. We're sponsoring, and it's like having a lot of good conversations in the AI lab.
I love it. I love it. So tell me a little bit about what you do at Metronome. What are you solving for people?
Yeah, so Metronome is building what we would call monetization infrastructure, which is to say companies have to now compete not just on their product, but on their go-to-market motion, how they
Mm,
price to value and sell value. And they have to do it very quickly. Like the faster, like we see, companies at the top of the market, like let's say OpenAI or Anthropic, launching or changing pricing multiple times a week. And so that is a far cry from the old kind of seats-based businesses
yeah.
where you would, maybe you'd have a seat business model you kick off and you'd grow to $1 billion of revenue just by offering discounts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true because I feel like every other week I see some type of like flame up about people being, pissed off about like pricing, with the code agent that they're using and whatnot.
Yeah. It's really like the software market, I think, is still really immature in this regard.
Mm,
Like if you compare it to consumer goods, you'll have toothpaste companies bidding for which shelf on Walmart they want to be on a
yeah.
weekly basis because
Yeah.
there's like back to school, it's worth more to be at like whatever, this height. And software, how you price and package your product is not something that anyone really thought about until maybe 5 years ago, especially with the move now again to AI and consumption. And people are still figuring out what it looks like to be competitive and how you, for example, don't piss off users. And visibility is a big part of offering visibilities to users is a big
Okay.
part of that. In a subscription-based world, you don't really need an app for that much visibility. It's like roughly how much your bill is going to be because you know roughly how many employees you have, and you can just do the math. But in usage, you can blow through
Yeah.
consumption way faster, and so that visibility is really important.
I'm really curious, do you think that this is going to change like buying behavior? Because I I know that a lot of times it's nice to know upfront what your bill is going to be just based on like, a monthly subscription, but like AI seems to be like constantly shifting sand with the usage based charging. Do you think that's going to change the way billing works in the industry? Like what people are comfortable like having be a variable cost?
Yeah, I think the variable cost concern, there's lots of different kind of go-to-market motions you can use, like selling prepaid or postpaid commits that gives the
True.
kind of predictableness that you want. But I think we will see more and more moving. Well, really, what the move to consumption is a move to more closely align value delivered to price charged. And I actually think we'll see more of that in the enterprise. It used to be that, I can sell a seat, and a seat can be worth, it's hard to tell how much that's worth. Like,
Yeah.
it's very easy to predict, but like, am I getting a value from giving my whole marketing team access to Figma? It's hard to tell. And that becomes even more a problem with agents because agents
Yeah.
like how do you map that to seats in general? So I think the consumption based billing is closer aligned to what enterprises want from a value delivery, value alignment perspective. And then you can again kind of structure contracts around commits or other kind of more predictable structures. So you still have that cost control nature in place. And
Yeah.
actually, Metronome offers a lot of cost control features as well, so you can limit kind of like max spend and that kind of, if you want to offer that to your customers.
Interesting. So one of the things that we talk about at WorkOS is like trying to help companies with like an idea and like who already have like a PLG motion to like go up market to enterprise and gain those enterprise contracts. And I'm curious, if you're talking to those people who are like considering an enterprise contract for the first time, what are some of the things that they are likely getting wrong in the way they consider pricing? And, how does Metronome help guide them across that enterprise chasm, as we like to say?
Yeah. I think the first thing that you kind of have to internalize when you're thinking about pricing is that especially in this market, your pricing is wrong right now. We're not gonna be able
It's
to tell
wrong.
you what it is,
That's
what
what we're
right is, but anything static is wrong because it is
interesting.
you are very similar to like, we moved again 2 decades ago from having static products, now actually continuous deployment and feature flags and A/B testing. I think that, we learn, and now it seems crazy in hindsight that products that iterate and change faster are going to outperform and outcompete products that don't. I think we're starting to see the same thing in pricing, where whatever pricing you have initially, you don't. it's wrong. You will evolve and learn what the market wants as you improve your value too, right? Because the
Yeah.
value you deliver is right. So the main advice I would give anyone is don't assume static product, your product's changing, and then don't assume static pricing. Your pricing is changing. And, whatever, whether regardless of if you use Metronome or build in house or you're just doing everything with spreadsheets, you should be structuring your infrastructure here to not encode staticness, to allow flexibility. And of
Yeah.
course, Metronome enables that, but that's the most important thing, regardless of like what tools you use, is just enabling that flexibility.
Yeah. What does that experience, if you could describe it for me, what does that experience look like using Metronome?
Yeah, so with Metronome, you're streaming us data as usage occurs in your product. So not things like charge user or, create bill or anything like that. You're saying like
Mm,
this user took an action, they clicked the button, they logged in, they did an API call or an AI inference for so OpenAI and Anthropic are big customers of ours, as well as a bunch of infrastructure companies, and they call us like literally in the inference call, they will call out to Metronome in some cases. And then you have this stream of data and you can construct whatever business models you want on top of that in a non-destructive way. And so if you want to, for example, see what it would look like to bill your customer based on these actions and of those actions, we still have that raw underlying data. And so you're creating the contracts in Metronome or your product catalog in Metronome off of that
yeah.
stream of data. And you're just plugging that into whatever contract or agreement you want to represent in the product. And then all your downstream systems, whether that be actually like sending invoices off to, NetSuite or Stripe or whatever kind of you're actually using to collect the money, or RevRec systems or internal BI, all of that will sort of just work as you evolve because the, underlying Metronome platform isn't changing. You're just representing everything in the constructs that we
Mm.
have.
What's something that people kind of get wrong in that, like, when they're first getting their like first enterprise clients? Like, what's something that they kind of like, they need to shift their mindset on, when they go from maybe like a PLG motion to like enterprise sales?
I think the main thing is assuming some simplicity in the contract. Like, maybe your
Uh,
PLGs, you
Right.
charge a good, better, best, and your
Yeah.
enterprise, you're just going to discount a little bit more. That's a very common thing because, you have somewhere where it's like good plan costs this and best plan costs
Yeah.
this, and I can tweak that number. But enterprises often want, especially if we're talking about consumption, often want much more complex terms where they're committing to spend a certain amount so they have that cost control.
Mm.
And then you have to kind of like burn down from those credits. And then, how do those credits get rolled over? Any of that kind of, there's just a lot of complexity when you're talking custom enterprise terms that don't exist in the PLG ecosystem.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I love that. What have been some of your like favorite moments when kind of helping customers grow into this type of sales?
I love seeing how fast our customers are able to launch new pricing. That is like when I feel like the product is working its best, is when we have a customer that comes from, maybe they're at a YC company and they, midway through they pivoted and they just launched a new product on Metronome with a few button clicks. Maybe they're at one of the largest frontier AI labs and they, clicked a few buttons in the UI and launched a whole new, industry
Yeah,
killing
yeah,
model. And in either cases, they're just doing that in the Metronome product without involving Metronome at all. Another, we have companies that use our platform that do acquisitions, right?
yeah.
And so they acquire a whole different business with a whole different pricing model and are able to fold that into their unified offering very simply and decide like, should these burn down the same credits? Are we going to merge these contracts?
Interesting.
All
Yeah.
of that. Being able to like have those kind of what would historically be pretty complex processes happen just in product without very many people on our side or their side being involved, that's when like I feel like the product is living up to its potential.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, honestly, it sounds like WorkOS and Metronome are kind of like a, you know, whatever the handshake meme.
Yeah, I love work. I mean, that's why we sponsored the conference. I was talking to Michael about this last night. I think Metronome and WorkOS are just solving the two parts of enterprise readiness for a company, right? If you want to move up into the enterprise, you need the enterprise product readiness, which the WorkOS suite is great for. And then you need the enterprise monetization readiness, which Metronome is the solution for.